Hello, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Dr. Jen, and you are here for our podcast series today, our educational series called Beyond the Prescription, where we discuss things that you can do for your health and wellness beyond just taking a prescription. Again, my name is Dr. Jen, I'm a pharmacist and diabetic educator, and tonight I'm here to talk with Cowboy Mike, known as Cowboy Mike on social media. Mike Willis, who's here today to talk to us about muscle. Talk about muscle, talk about exercise, talking about getting healthy and his own health journey. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So, our little series here is called, let me pull it up here for you guys. Fitness and fat burning. That is going to be our main focus here. So, as we get started, we're going to start right here talking about being an athlete and your own history. So, tell us about where your life has gone. So, you've been an athlete your whole life, been very physically active. Tell us a little bit about that and who you are leading up to today.
Okay. So my background is I've been in sports my whole life. I've done everything from wrestling, football, baseball, and later got into 8 years of martial arts, two different styles. And I also did powerlifting. So I was trained in a powerlifting gym. So all those years of doing sports and loving sports, I stayed in pretty good shape. Pretty good shape all those years. Pretty amazing shape. Always had six-pack abs. Was always lean. That kind of thing.
Okay. And so when we're talking about, so as you got older and you had a family and you had children and life gets busy like it does for all of us, and your 30s and your 40s, still active, still doing cardio, still hitting the gym, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And yet, this is a picture of you. I know it's hard to see. Let me move it around here. So this is a picture of you right before you got started on this new health journey with us.
2 years
And
ago.
yeah, and in this picture, you're still doing cardio, you're still hitting the weights, you're
Hmm.
still eating the same foods you've always eaten.
Yes.
Crazy, right? Does it sound like anybody else's story? Because this also sounded like mine. He had muscle, he had great cardiovascular health. In fact, I remember you telling me, you've been to the cardiologist, they checked you out, your ticker is fine, you don't have plaque in your arteries, you're healthy as a horse on the inside, and yet on the outside, it didn't really look like it. And then if you
Exactly.
and then you started looking at your labs, at this point, at the picture we're looking at, you're on multiple medications in this photo, correct?
Yes. Seven medications that I'm no longer on. And not only that, but my cardio routine was so intense. Do you remember, Jen? There were people coming up to you all the time saying, "Hey, saw your husband at the gym, and man, he was flying on that machine."
There were people all the time who was afraid this man was going to break the elliptical. I mean, he would be literally running faster. It seemed like you were running faster than the actual little footholds could go. I mean, you were after it. And as someone who used to run miles and you were still working on that muscle mass, it must have been frustrated when your doctor looks at your labs and says, you have high cholesterol, you have pre-diabetes, you have high blood pressure and low testosterone, and the list goes on. And you must have been like, what? What's happening right now?
Exactly. And the thing is that what does the doc tell me? The doc says, "Hey, you need to exercise more,
And you're like,
and you need to eat better."
yeah.
Okay. So I thought I was eating pretty good, and I thought I was exercising enough. And I'm like, "Hey, doc, I'm in the gym working out so much. There's only 7 days in the week to work out. What more can I do?"
And I think that resonates with a lot of people, honestly, because how many of us go to the gym? How many of us go to the gym who are on here And not only looking at ourselves, but looking at all the people around us. You see people who are hitting it hard at the gym. They're leaving the gym every single day, dripping with sweat, and they're still not losing the inches and they're not losing the pounds. Like it is definitely getting harder. The 20-year-olds can do a little cardio and burn it right off. 40s and 50s, it doesn't happen like
No,
that anymore, right?
not anymore. Not anymore. Used to, I could, if I saw myself gaining a little weight, I could just go to the gym, just ramp up the cardio, get in
Yep.
a little extra lifting, and put myself right back into amazing shape in no time. But it doesn't work like that now.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So we're going to talk a little bit about that actual journey and why that happens. So, uh let's talk about why exercise doesn't always seem to work. Why is it not enough?
Well, that little thing that the doctor never told me about. And when I saw the doctor, you'd think that with all this education, major university, that they would say, hey, do you know what? The real problem, if you see this, doc, if you see high blood pressure, if you see ED in men, if you see low testosterone, if you see high cholesterol, if you see high triglycerides, if you see high cholesterol, and the list goes on,
Hmm.
and this is for women too, not the ED portion, but PCOS, low
Yeah.
libido, etc. The doc never ever recommends, hey, I believe you're just insulin resistant. Let's just give you an insulin resistance test.
No, I have never once been offered such a thing. And I know so many people that I've worked with and talked to saying the exact same thing. I've never been asked what my insulin levels are. My doctor's never taken that level. Nobody's even offered that to me. They take my A1C. They said I'm not diabetic. I'm getting fluffier. The weight is going on. I'm not having energy. I'm struggling with my health. I can tell I'm not feeling the same, but you keep telling me everything's okay. And 9 times out of 10, what we're seeing is until someone's A1C goes from just fine or borderline to boom, 10, 11, 12, whoa, then all of a sudden we get this wake up call and we need to be on 7 prescriptions and so on and so forth. It's a sad situation. So, you want to tell us a little bit about what insulin resistance really is?
Yes. Okay. So, what insulin resistance really is the fact that you are keeping your levels, your blood sugar and your insulin levels, too long, too high for too much of an extended period.
Yeah.
Meaning, this can take 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years for some people. But it's how often we're eating, okay? And not only that, it's what we're eating.
And that volume too. Some of us
Mm-hmm.
are eating plates that are it's more than a man meal, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's intense. And so your body has to take so much time and energy to break all that down. And with these meals, especially with the typical American diet, and I'm gonna highlight that here for a minute. This is the typical American diet here. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, 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 each and every time, spiking your blood sugar, spiking your insulin. And when we're spiking the insulin and spiking the blood sugar all day long, the cellular level, things start breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the body becomes less sensitive to the insulin hormone. All of a sudden, we can't keep storing all that sugar in the fat cells, store it in the liver, store it in the muscles like we used to. We get to that insulin resistant state. Now, were you showing signs of insulin resistance? Because I know I was. I was struggling with the lack of energy. I was struggling with cravings all the time. I had put on some extra pounds, a good 20, 25 extra pounds I was holding on to, and I was really struggling. How about you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. There's nothing like waking up in the morning and feeling like you never went to sleep, right?
Yeah,
Anybody been there with that kind of thing? You can
exactly.
sleep 12 hours. It doesn't matter. You still feel that fatigue. It's real. And it doesn't matter if you sleep 6 hours, you feel that fatigue and it's real. But you get the aches and pains, the inflammation, the joint pain
Yes.
that you have all the time. Not only that, but you get depression. Like it affects you mentally. So you
Hmm.
have the depression, the anxiety, and the fatigue all compounding on your shoulders, and it's just weighing you down. And then when you don't see results from all this training that you're doing in the gym, you just
Well,
feel
that's the
like
worst.
giving up. You're like, what, what am I
Yeah.
doing wrong here? I just feel like giving up.
Well, that's the worst part, right? Like you go to the doctor's office, you're in this insulin resistant state, but they're not calling it that. They're not telling you that. They're just saying
Right.
work out more, eat less. Work out more, eat less. Whether you're a man or a woman, they give us the same story. And
Mhm.
then, so what do? You stress out, you come home, you start starving yourself. You start eating smaller meals because you think you're eating too much food, and half of us aren't eating enough of the good calories, and that's the problem. And then we're trying to outrun this bad diet on a treadmill, stressing ourselves, raising our cortisol, raising our stress hormones, and we're just making the problem worse.
And here's the big problem. So when we're trying to eat better, the doc isn't saying what to cut out. Okay.
No.
He's not
Mm-mm.
saying cut out the carbs. He's saying
Eat
cut
less.
out the fats, eat less fat. Eat less fat. Did you know that fat is good for you?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't specify what kind of fat. You got to
Mm-hmm.
eat the good fat, right? You got to, I mean, having that steak with a little bit of fat is great. Eating
Mm-hmm.
the Mickey D's ultra processed seed oil garbage fat, different story, right?
Right.
And the doctors, I mean, healthcare in America today, let's be honest, your doctor's not going to sit down and give you a 30-minute lecture on the right food for you and your macros and how many calories you should be taking. I mean, that's not going to happen in today's healthcare marketplace. No, that's going to happen. Their doctor is made to, when you go to the doctor's office, to get you a prescription to help you get through till tomorrow. That's their job. We both
Exactly.
know that.
Yeah, this
So,
is this is always the answer from the doc right here.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
the answer.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about the next stretch for both me and you. Let's see if I can get a better slide here for us. Let's do this. I think this will work best. So introducing fasting and feasting. All right. So full disclaimer, I am the person who introduced Mike to the concept of let's do some fasting and feasting. And Mike, go ahead and tell us how that went over for you. What did you think when I said, I think we should start adding some prebiotic supplementation before our meals, drinking some herbal tea, and doing some time-based eating? What did you think?
I laughed.
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious. I'm sitting here thinking, what are you talking about?
yeah,
Because this is coming from a guy that had a cabinet full of GNC products. I had my gold card. I was that guy that had spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars every single month on supplementation. Now, I
yep,
don't ever remember walking into a GNC and seeing for supplementation, hey, here's some yerba mate herbal tea. I
nope,
never saw that. And oh, by the way, and there's also some fiber here, and it's going to do all of this for you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would have laughed.
If they would have told you, just drink this little cocktail, and guess what? You're not going to have the cholesterol problems anymore. You're not going to have the blood pressure problems and the blood sugar problems. You're no longer going to worry about that pre-diabetes. Yeah, right. Right? I
Yeah,
mean,
and I
and I
laughed.
think, yeah. And so when we had the conversation, he obviously wasn't open to it. So I became the guinea pig and I
Mhm.
put some time and effort into it and just following the simple tools and the system. And that is exactly what you see here is drinking tea first thing in the morning for breakfast and then pushing back the first meal of the day, having a decent lunch, sipping on a second tea between lunch and dinner, drinking some beautiful thick viscous fiber right before my meal so I don't overeat. I lower the blood sugar spike. And what this does is keeps those insulin levels lower, putting that insulin resistant state in remission. And as Mike likes to say, when the insulin is low,
The
the
fluff will
fat
go.
the fat will go. Yep, it's going to
Mhm.
go. And so when I started doing the fasting and feasting myself, I ended up seeing a 20-pound weight loss fairly quickly. My gut reflux was absolutely gone out the window. I had been on omeprazole for a very, very long time. You guys, I had been on omeprazole for 15 years. And when I started the system, within that first month, it was gone. My reflux was gone. And I was just blown away because that was something I had been trying to get off of forever. The risk of osteoporosis, cancer, all of the side effect profile that occurs with long-term use of the acid reflux medications is very concerning, and it messes with the absorption of the minerals in your gut, all of those things. So it's something I always wanted to be off of. So when I got some results and I started seeing things were happening, someone to be unnamed in this room, as in the gentleman right here, started tasting the tea, started
Yeah.
tasting the fiber, started saying, whoa, your
Hmm.
gut is healed. I'm on gut meds. Whoa, 20 pounds? I want to get rid of 20 pounds. Well, and then pretty soon I saw my blood pressure regulating itself. And that was another problem of yours, right?
Hmm.
So you finally decided, okay, maybe I'll just taste it, try it,
Yeah.
toe dipped.
So I didn't want to, let you know that you were right or anything. So I decided to kind of sneak over there every now and then when your head was kind of turned and like take a sip
Hmm.
and be like, hmm, wow, that's pretty good actually. That kind
Yeah,
of thing.
let him tell the
So,
truth. Basically, I started running out of it. And I was like, wait,
yeah,
I ordered extra. Why am I out of it? This
yes.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed the tea. The fiber tastes amazing also. And then at one point, I kind of got caught
Yeah.
by you. And when I got caught, it was like, hey, big slap on the hand. No, no, don't. You're not. This is why I'm running out. Stay out of my product.
Yes.
Get your own. You've seen what it's done for my body. And it comes with a
Yes.
90-day, 100% money back guarantee. What do you have to lose? And I'm like,
So,
all right, you had me bent over a barrel.
yeah. So let's talk about how this worked now. Now, did the tea and fiber change your hunger?
Yes, I thought there was no way possible from a guy that woke up. And ever since I was a little kid, I was drilled that breakfast was the most important meal of the day.
Aren't we
And that
all?
was just like replaying in my head.
Hmm.
How am I going to go without breakfast when I'm always eating breakfast? That's the most
Yep.
important meal. And I thought there
Yep.
was no way I could do this. And then all of a sudden, sipping on the tea, I noticed that within my first week that my hunger was gone, cravings were gone, and I didn't even care if I ate, once a day.
It's crazy. That's like,
Hmm.
you need to understand. This man was eating insane amounts of food. Like the grocery bill was out of control. He was eating just to eat, and breakfast would look like the drive-through for the McDonald's or the Dunkin' drive-through. He really liked the coffees and the drinks and the
Yes.
breakfast sandwiches and the bagels and all the things. And then, like, I remember weekends would often be like oatmeal with the brown
Hmm.
sugar on top. I mean, it was carb fest at the house. We
Yes.
indulging in carbs all the time. So right off the bat, you were able to push back your first meal of the day.
Mhm. Yes.
Now,
Now you
as
got to
a
remember, everybody's got to remember in here that being that I have a powerlifting background and I was taught, being an athlete for many years, that loading carbs was important.
yeah,
Carbs. They stressed on me. My trainer there at the powerlifting gym, my wrestling coach, football coach. Carbs are important. We don't have to worry about anything but the fats. Do the carbs.
yep, yep. And just so did that scare you a little bit doing some fasting and not getting in as many carbohydrates? Were you worried about losing muscle mass?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
And well,
And
but
did that
I wasn't seeing any real. growth gains in muscle anyway. I had it on my body, but it was just
Yeah.
kind of hidden under all that fat.
Well, and this is something we're going to talk a little bit about the science of, but when you're in an insulin resistant state, you're also in a anabolic resistant state. And that's something we're really going to
Correct.
talk about. Mike's going to talk more about muscle for us here in a few moments. But and in that paired state, it's hard to put on muscle. It's hard to put on muscle and it's hard to lose fat. So it's a double whammy, moving you in
Mhm.
the wrong direction. So that carb loading ends up being just sugar loading and ends up being more pressure on your kidneys and liver. So, what about your energy? So, and your workouts? Did you find that the tea helped you in any way?
Yes, you will never ever see me at the gym without tea. Everybody that sees me, if you go to my local gym in my hometown here, and you go into the big rec
Hmm.
center that I go to, what do you see? You always see my diamond bottle with me. You always see my tea in my hand because of the uh, the energy level that it gives me. It's not a shake or a jitter or anything like that. It's a consistent energy that this tea is giving me.
It's
And
the
not only
antioxidants.
that, I
Yeah,
just saw, I started to see reps increase in the gym. And once you see reps increase, you see strength increase. And that was really
absolutely.
important.
Absolutely. So you started realizing that that tea that is an antioxidant that is literally meant to increase the oxygen to the muscles is really doing what it's saying. It's putting the money where the mouth is. And so what about your blood pressure, your cholesterol? What started happening with your body composition? What started happening with your labs?
So my labs started to change. And as soon as I had blood work performed, it was like, wow. So within 4 months' time, I was able to come off of 7 medications.
That's
There were
crazy.
two asthma, there was the two asthma, two blood pressure, there was a omeprazole for acid reflux, there was low testosterone medication, and then there was a statin for cholesterol.
Cholesterol.
I came
Yeah.
off of all of those within 4 months and dropped 40 pounds of fluff
So
and
we
put
didn't
my
even
pre-diabetes in remission.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And we didn't even talk about your asthma. So, as an athlete, asthma was a big thing for you. You were sick often in the winter using
Mhm.
albuterol inhalers. Typically, would it be typical for you in the wintertime to have pneumonia, be on antibiotics, need
Yes,
steroids,
very
use
much so. I've had
Symbicort,
that
all those
several
things?
times in my life. I've had bronchitis numerous times in my life. And usually in the winter time, I'm always in the hospital at least 1 to 3 times in the hospital with lung related problems.
And it's been like that for how long? Years,
My
right?
whole life.
Your whole
My
life.
whole life.
Okay. So in the last 2 years that you've been consistent with the tea and the fiber, how many times have you had to go to urgent care? How many times have you had pneumonia, bronchitis, inhalers, asthma attacks, any of those things?
None. None since I've been on this protocol.
That's incredible. Like so absolutely incredible. And it's the anti-inflammatory tea mixed with you using the tea and the fiber along with the time-based eating to
Hmm.
heal the gut microbiome, to get a better gut, get better gut microorganisms. And of course, the tea also is potent antioxidants, full of vitamins and nutrients, vitamin A, C, E, phosphorus, magnesium, all of the good stuff in there as well. So it's like getting all of the vitamins and nutrients from a great meal. So is the fiber. It's like getting the vitamins and nutrients of a great meal without the macros. So without spiking your blood sugar, you're feeling full. It's raising the GLP hormone. The tea also balances ghrelin and leptin hormones. So it helps with your fat storage so that you're not overly storing fat, so that you're not overly hungry, and it helps with that fullness sensation. So, it was in how long did you started changing your body composition? Because you've lost some weight with this and
Yeah.
gained some weight with this, right? In the
Yes.
right ways.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So in my first month, of course, I had taken more inches off really than pounds. I
Mhm.
only noticed 6 pounds down in my first month, but I noticed that the pants were falling off,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm down 6 pounds only, but the pants are falling off kind of thing. That was pretty impressive to me because I was more concerned about that really
Yeah.
than the fluff, the pounds on the scale. So I noticed that in month one. Then by end of month two, I lost even more weight, inches and more pounds. So the second month was much better. I believe, if I remember correct, it was somewhere around 13 pounds down my second month.
And since then, you've continued the journey and you've lost a total of how much weight?
54 pounds down, and I have put on over 20 pounds of muscle all by the end of year one.
In his 50s.
Yeah.
Now, he's hitting the gym, okay? We're not saying you're just going to drink tea and fiber and all of a sudden your muscles you're just going to go straight Popeye, okay? None of that's going to happen. But he's been hitting the gym his whole life.
Yeah.
Like he's been constantly and consistently going to the gym, lifting the heavy weights, doing all the things, but because of his insulin resistant state, he wasn't seeing the muscle gains that he deserved to see because his blood sugar and insulin was like this. It was like this. And so all he had to do was remove that insulin resistant state, fix the anabolic resistance program system problem that was happening. And we're going to talk about that as well. And guess what? The pounds started coming on in the right places,
Yeah. You'll start to see a shift. And what you'll do is you'll get to a point where you're losing the fluff, and then you'll kind of stop and you'll plateau, and then you'll see the scale start to come back up. And when you start to see that, immediately we all think and we all fear that that's fat.
Yeah.
And it's not. You're actually, since you have taken that anabolic resistance and you have corrected that problem, now the body starts to put on a small amount of muscle. Even without training, you can put muscle back on anywhere between probably 1 to 5 pounds in a short amount of time.
And we'll see several people who will reach out and say, Jen, my pants still fit the same. I feel good, but I've gained a couple pounds instead of losing. And I'm like, well, you're doing the training, you're doing the things, you're doing all the exercise. You don't feel fluffier. Your pants are tighter. Okay, it's muscle. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing. So why are we focused on muscle anyway? Why does muscle matter?
So why does muscle matter? It is because of muscle is the most important organ on your body. See, we have to really know and understand the importance of muscle. The more muscle you got, it works just like a sponge, soaking up glucose, lowering that blood sugar number while you're at rest. Even at rest, it's dropping it down, okay? But not only that, what are we doing? Well, we are really reversing the hands of time as far as sarcopenia, because after the age of 30 years old, we are steadily losing muscle every single year. And the older we get, the more rapid and the more comes off. So we're stopping it right in its tracks. If we're keeping that muscle on our bodies and we're doing something to keep it on there and really maintain it by correcting our metabolic health issue and our anabolic health issue. And also, just, here's another thing right on here. Yeah. I mean, when you start to drop in weight, okay, and a lot of us see that. And okay, if we have a lot of extra fluff like I had on my body, you're going to start to see voids in the body. You raise your arm, you might start to see some skin kind of hang here or around the waistline. But we can, once we start to build that muscle back up, we can fill those voids and really make ourselves look good, and not just like, how do I get rid of this extra skin hanging there?
Yeah, well, I mean, not just to be vain, but we all want to look good. That's part of the reason we're trying to lose fat and we're trying to get healthy as well. And when you add some muscle mass, it fills up some of the space that fat was consuming. So it
Yeah.
fills in that skin a little bit. It gives you a little bit of shape, a little bit of curve in the best possible ways. So yeah, muscle is that longevity organ. There are so many studies that show the size of someone's thigh determines their longevity. I think that's just absolutely incredible how important muscle is. And what's nice about muscle is cardio. All right, so going for the walk, running on the elliptical, doing all the things, yeah, that's going to burn the sugar right out of your bloodstream. But muscle
Mhm.
burns sugar while you sleep.
Yes.
While you sleep. So when you're talking to someone our age, in the 40s and the 50s and beyond, do you tell them focus on cardio or focus on resistance training? Now, when we're saying resistance training, can you explain exactly what that is too? When I say
Mhm.
resistance training, what does that mean?
Yeah. Resistance training would be either any type of resistance comes from either something that's resistant to a typical lift. Like say resistance, it's putting muscle. I guess the word. I'm sorry, but what I'm looking for is if you have a weight,
Mhm.
okay, in your hand and you're trying to pull it up, there is a form of resistance to that.
Well, you're resisting
Yeah.
gravity, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
basically,
So that is
yeah.
going to force the muscle to contract and grow.
Mhm. So whether you're using an armband that
So you
is
can use
considered
bands, you
resistance,
can use weights.
weights is
Yes.
resistance, body
You can
weight
use your
is
own body. Yes, your own body
okay.
weight.
Okay. So that's the resistance training that typically builds muscle. We need that resistance to break down the muscle fibers to rebuild the muscle fibers
Hmm.
versus cardio, which also can build muscle in a way, shape, or form as well, right?
Correct.
Especially it's really exercising that heart muscle. I mean, both are important. So when people say to you, okay, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s, what do I need to be doing? What's your
Yeah.
opinion on that?
My opinion is one, after you have corrected your metabolic health concern, okay, because it is a big concern. Once you corrected that, you will correct the anabolic side, okay? So now that means that not only can protein synthesis happen, but muscle protein synthesis can happen when you decide to train. So now my recommendation is always to do both. Is
Okay.
to maybe start and ease into it. If you're an individual that does not like exercise, let's just start with some walking. Let's
Hmm.
go there. Okay. And then, and that's going to work your heart, right? That's
Yeah.
going to work your ticker. And that's really important. But while you are walking, one thing you need to keep in mind is that you can burn up to 35% of your blood sugar off just by something simple like that. Going for a walk after lunch, going for a walk after dinner, just
Oh
a
yeah.
brief walk. Get out there moving that muscle. Because remember, that muscle is like a sponge soaking up that blood sugar.
It's really important to not
Yeah.
only burn off the sugar right after your meal. So, especially if you're over consuming or you're getting in a lot of carbs or any kind of meal that's really spiking your blood sugar, you have that opportunity to walk some of that sugar off. And then, if you're also hitting the gym a couple times a week and you're
Mhm.
building muscle mass, well, now you have the muscle that's going to burn off excess sugar as well while you sleep. So that's the goal is to really have both. I know for women specifically, our cortisol stress hormones and our estrogen and progesterone are very much affected by overdoing stress or overdoing the cardio. And the cardiovascular exercise can be a major stressor on a woman's body. And so for the women, I always say cardio is good for your heart health. Do that from time to time if it makes you feel good and you love it in your eating window, and get some cardio in to get that heart moving, burn a couple extra calories and all those things. Great. But make sure you're lifting the heavy weights if you want to be healthy. If you want to be healthy and you want to be lean, you've got to lift the weights. Cardio is no longer queen.
Right. Yeah, you've
Yes.
got that. And when we're talking about lifting weights, I need everybody to understand something in here. That doesn't mean the old myth was to do 3 sets of 10. And that original myth came from the military. Okay. Was something that, and it kind of went from the military out into the public. and everybody just thought, do 3 sets of bicep curls,
Mm-hmm.
do 3 sets of tricep extensions. But that's not so. What you have to remember is if you want the muscle to respond and you want to see it grow,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to put it to the challenge. And the challenge is resistance. The more resistance that there is, then you're going to see the results. So how I was taught to train was to pyramid. So slowly adding weight going up to the top of the pyramid. Okay. Now you might do 8 or 10 reps and you're not fatiguing the muscle on the way up. Then when you get to a weight that's heavy, you're
Yeah.
challenging yourself. Okay. It's putting your muscles to the challenge. And what are you doing then at that point where you're going to do something that you can do anywhere between maybe 6 to 8 reps? And then coming down the backside of the pyramid, what are you going to do? You're going to strip the same amount of weight off as you did coming up the ladder, down the ladder.
I
Except
like
this
that.
time, we're really putting ourselves to the test because what are we going to do? We're going to burn ourselves out, fatiguing the muscle on the way down on the backside. Fatigue the muscle on every single set, tearing muscle fiber while we're doing so. That's what we're doing. We're causing micro tears.
And then, of course, so we're going to get into this as well. So when you do, and let me see, I believe we have this on the next slide. When we're going to talk about anabolic and insulin resistance. But so let me go back here. When you are talking about breaking down muscle, okay, that is a normal part of building muscle. You have to tear it down in order to build it back up. Our cells are constantly breaking down, dying, and rebuilding. This is how every cell in our body works. So when do you work out? Because if you're fasting, right, you still
Mhm.
have to provide the nutrition to your body to rebuild the muscles. Does it matter when you work out if you're someone who does intermittent fasting?
Yes. I mean, I find that my best workouts are performed while fasting.
Okay. And
Pretty
then
amazing,
you,
right?
I know, I feel the same way. I love working out in the fasted state. I feel more energized. I feel lighter. I feel like I can go the distance. It doesn't like, I'm not feeling uncomfortable like I'm going to feel reflux because I just ate something. I mean, that is my favorite way to work out. But then I realize after the workout, you have to get the good nutrition in order to rebuild those muscles. So, protein
Exactly.
and healthy fat.
That's right. Yeah. And the one thing we have to remember is that protein is important. Okay. It plays a huge role in muscle growth, muscle recovery. But not only that, but is it beneficial by itself, or is it more beneficial when consumed with fats, whether it's animal fat or healthy fats? And if you said it's got to be taken with fats, you'd be correct.
That's why there are some protein powders and such that you'll see out there that they add MCT and all of that in order to help it get pushed into the muscle. So that is important. If you're going to have your protein shake, you can have it with some avocado. Just get some healthy fats in there. Get a spoonful of the MCT. Any of those things can easily help you get the healthy fats in the body. So moving on to our next thing is anabolic resistance and insulin resistance. And we kind of touched on this. But from everything that I am seeing everywhere, as we age, our bodies are just more susceptible to both. To
Yes.
anabolic resistance, meaning your body is not taking in protein and making muscle the way it used to insulin resistance, your body isn't able to process sugar and use it the way you used to. And that's why things change as we age. We have to focus better on what we're eating, how we're working out, all of the things. So, do you want to tell us just a little bit more about anabolic resistance?
Well, I mean, going back to that first picture you showed when we started the live, me
Hmm.
2 years ago, in the gym training 6 to 7 days a week, you would have thought that I would have had more muscle definition and a lot more muscle, right? Well, I'm going to tell you, when you are insulin resistance, you're going to be anabolic resistant. And like I say all the time when I talk on my lives is you can work out till the cows come home and you're not going to see any sort of great changes in your physical appearance when it comes to muscle because your muscles become resistant to strength gains and size gains when you are in the insulin resistant state. So you've got
And
to correct
again,
your metabolic health
yes,
in order to correct your anabolic health and
you
grow
have to
muscle.
give your body time without eating. You have to
Exactly.
give your body time to allow the insulin levels to come down because when the insulin is low, the fat will go. And so we want to reiterate this over and over and over again. The
Yeah, and there's so many things
reason,
that need to be changed. And I mean, and that can cause this anabolic resistance, inflammation in the body, inactivity of using your muscles,
yeah.
certain types of drugs, illness or surgeries. I mean, obesity problems, undernutrition, sleep, depression, and the list can go on and
And our
on and on.
hormones, oh my gosh, as soon as we're hitting menopause, ladies, and our hormones are getting out of whack, that's affecting our insulin too, which then affects that whole anabolic resistance as well. Harder to put on muscle, and it's harder to lose fat. It's a double whammy, and it's all food. Guys,
Hmm.
it's all food. The truth is Mike realized in this process that he was doing all the right things physically to keep himself healthy. He was getting in the workouts, he was lifting the heavy weights, he was doing the cardio. His heart was very healthy, but he was eating the wrong foods.
Yes.
Eating too much, eating too often, and that's exactly what he changed with the system. Okay?
Yeah.
So this when we say the system, we're talking about the Unicity Feel Great system. We're talking about the tea and fiber protocol. And there are two ways in which you can get started on something like the system. You can do 2 tea a day and 1 fiber, and 2 fiber a day and 1 tea. But either way, the basis is the same. You're going to drink tea first thing in the morning, push back your first meal of the day, allow the tea to increase that glucagon like peptide hormone so you're not hungry. Allow it to balance your leptin and your ghrelin hormones. Allow it to keep the insulin low so the fat can go. You're a fat burning machine first thing in the morning, making ketones a precious energy source to the brain.
Mhm.
Then, then depending on if you are a muscle person, depending on if you're taking in extra carbs because you're really pushing it in the gym, right? So for the people who are really lifting the heavy weights 2 hours at a time, they can take in some extra carbs, and they do sometimes in order to get those muscle gains, correct?
Correct.
But to do that, you have to be hitting the gym. You can't be eating the pizza and eating the ice cream and expect to do that breakfast, lunch, and dinner because you'll keep that insulin high the whole stinking time, right? So these are the two different ways that you can do this. Mike, do you want me to explain it, or do you want to go and explain why you would do 2 balance a day and 1 tea versus who would do 2 tea a day and 1 balance?
Well, I mean, as far as the way I do things, I
Hmm.
do two of both. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason why I do this is because I plateaued. Okay. I did the protocol, meaning 2 tea per day and 1 balance per day.
Hmm.
And I plateaued with 40 pounds of weight loss at the end of month 4.
Okay.
So I thought, you know what? I eat a little bit carb rich. Okay. I'm the kind of person, I'm a foodie. All right. I'm not looking for a bodybuilder build. All right. I want to be somewhat lean, look good in my clothes, look good with my clothes off, but at the same time, I want to enjoy food. Friends, I mean, we were meant to enjoy food. That's why God put it here for us, right? So here's the thing. When I stopped and I stalled, I thought, there's got to be something that I can do here to cause some metabolic confusion in my body. And but I also thought at the same time, I thought, man, you know what? This fiber works so amazing. According to science, up to 53% lower blood glucose response. And I'm thinking, I wonder what would happen if I just add one more fiber and I do that before eating lunch and having one before dinner. Would I really see any changes? And guess what I found? 14 more pounds fell off my body by the end of year one
Yeah.
with just adding that one additional pack of fiber.
Because you were balancing those carbohydrates. You do like a little bit more carbs.
Hmm.
And by getting that in, now we will tell you there are some people on our team that drink fiber before anything, any meal, no matter what it is, even if they're just having protein, just having a steak, just having eggs, because it's so good for the body. The body needs more fiber. Most of us don't get the amount of fiber that we need. It is good, clean, wonderful fiber supplementation. It does help heal the gut. It can help you with those reflux issues, and it can help you feel fuller longer after a meal, which is fabulous. It's what most of us are needing, right? Increase that glucagon like peptide hormone, keep us fuller longer. So there's so many
Exactly.
people who enjoy the 2 fiber a day and drink the tea in the morning. Now, I'll be honest with you, I just absolutely love the tea. So if I'm going to have 2 fiber a day, I'll have 2 tea a day too, because otherwise I'm going to want Starbucks or an energy drink or something silly. And this tastes so much better. This tastes just as good, if not better, because it's not so sugary sweet. And it keeps me fuller longer and keeps me away from the cravings and keeps me away from the sugar. So it's been a game changer for both me and Mike and so many other people that we have worked with now. Now, we use the system and we recommend the system to help put insulin resistance in remission. Using the tea and using the fiber and using some time-based eating, you can easily get those insulin levels back to a baseline where your body is able to process sugar. And once you have reached an insulin resistant state, putting on muscle becomes much easier to do. Much easier. So that's why we're going to talk about the whole stronghold and gaining muscle mass little power pack we have here. I want you to tell us some of the muscle growth hacks that occur with the beautiful supplement Stronghold.
Okay. So Stronghold, I love, love, love. I've just got a rave about it. I think it's incredible what it will do for your body. Now, you could be an individual that can go out and you can buy what's in the Stronghold and you could stack it up on your counter and you could have a really hefty bill. Okay. Because you could go out and you could purchase some L-leucine, you could go out and purchase some H&B, you could go out and purchase some creatine monohydrate, and you could have your stack. We call that a
Mhm.
stack in the training field. When you're powerlifting or bodybuilding, that is considered a stack. Now, this stack, there's some pretty amazing science behind this stack. Because when you're talking about growing muscle without any change in physical activity or food intake, that's an incredible product.
Okay, and I got to repeat that one more time because I need to make sure that we really accentuate this. A Stronghold has studies that show it actually helps increase muscle mass without exercise. Without
That's correct.
exercise. So for someone like me or Mike who like to go to the gym, this is how you can put on muscle mass even faster with less effort, getting the amazing creatine, leucine, and HMB in there. Okay. And for
Mm-hmm.
someone who's not going to the muscle or to the muscle house is what I was going to say. No, who's not going to the gym. Let's say you're in your 70s or your 80s and your 90s, or you're in your 40s and 50s like me and Mike, and you just don't want to go to the gym. This is just not your thing. This can help you fight sarcopenia.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, friends, there is a study that is out there, and I have that study. And that study, for anyone that is in here that is a coach, everyone has the access to this.
Yes.
That science will show you that in as
Hmm.
little as 30 days, you will see muscle growth when not even training and no change in physical activity or food intake. And muscle growth is real, it happens, and it grows actually quite a bit.
That's mind blowing to me. Mind blowing. And that's with the combination of creatine, leucine, and HMB.
Mhm.
Now, for just one moment, I also want to just touch on quickly because creatine is one of the most studied supplements like in the world, guys, in the world. There is science behind science behind science. You're not going to find anything more studied, literally ever. And creatine is also absolutely incredible for the brain. For the
Yes.
brain. Yeah, and they're seeing that especially adults over the age of 40 getting creatine into your bloodstream on a daily basis. We're looking at the longevity of the neurons in your brain, guys. We're talking
Hmm.
about some serious, serious science here. And there has been speculation using the words dementia and Alzheimer's and all kinds of things on what creatine is doing for people's brains and their memory and their recall. And the list goes on and on and on. This
Yes.
is a
Yes.
power supplement.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought that creatine monohydrate was just for building muscle. It was just for
Not
men,
at all.
not
Nope.
for. But we're finding that this is so beneficial.
Nope, I lost you, Mike. I'm not sure why we lost him all of a sudden, guys. I apologize. Hold on a second. We'll see if we can get him back. Little do you know he's in the next room. We lost you. You're going to have to log back in. You see, I have to kick him out into the next room because he's too loud to sit beside me to do an interview. There we go. Clicking in and
Okay.
out here. We'll see if we can get that fixed.
Okay, let me see what we got going on here.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. So
All
there we
right.
go. Now you're back. Go ahead.
Don't know what happened there. I didn't touch anything, I promise.
I didn't kick him out, I promise. I mean, sometimes I try, but not this time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep talking creatine.
Yeah, so to give you an idea real quick, the science behind creatine monohydrate. Now, creatine is the most studied supplement known to mankind. Even I was using this as a kid when I was powerlifting, when I was a teenager.
Mhm.
And the thing is the more studies that they found with creatine, one of the most recent studies, okay, that because it's so studied, is they found that Alzheimer's and dementia patients that were using as little as 5 grams per day were receiving what? They got memories back. They
Wow.
started to remember things that they haven't remembered since who knows when.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I keep seeing more and more better studies about it. Creatine is something we all have to be getting in our lives, guys. And the Stronghold is an absolutely amazing supplement. Now, you'll see three different things here in the U workout. So, as people go on their health journey and they're using the tea and they're using the fiber and they're reversing this insulin resistance, if muscle is the thing that matters most to you, the Unimate Yerba Mate is an amazing pre-workout. In fact, that's one of the things that really sold Mike on it when I got him to finally try it, was that Mike Saunders, the power lifter, broke 3 world records drinking Unimate before his
Exactly.
lifts.
Exactly.
Potent antioxidant, gets oxygen to the muscles. Really, in fact, we've got the World Cup going on. Argentina, when Argentina played in the World Cup here in the US, they imported over 1,200 pounds of yerba mate. 1,200 pounds of yerba mate. Why? Because it's perfectly safe. It's not something that messes with your testosterone, that messes with your hormones. It does anything like that. It's completely legal, no issues there. And this is very safe for athletes. And it's incredible for your athletic performance.
If you
Now,
mind, if I interject for one moment,
yeah.
when you're talking about it not messing with your hormones, actually, you will see that with the yerba mate, you're going to
Mhm.
balance hormones in men and women,
Yes.
and you're going to correct any place you're deficient in as far as a hormone, especially for men. Ours is testosterone, and that's real
Hmm.
important for us. The moment you start to have yerba mate in your daily routine, guess what ends up happening? You could go from numbers like I once had in my 120s to 130s, the testosterone level of an old man and literally, it seems like overnight, jump to where you're in the 400s when you're middle aged.
That's
And
incredible.
that's a good, healthy number.
And I've seen as well as a woman who was going through early perimenopause and was having periods where I'd have a period 2 weeks straight and then not have one for 2 months, and my hormones were just boom, da boom, da boom, da boom. When
Hmm.
I started doing the time-based eating and adding the tea and the fiber, the anti-inflammatory tea, plus the antioxidants, plus lowering the insulin levels, insulin affects your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, affects all the hormones interact with each other, you guys. It's a very, very, very gentle cascade. They're all working with each other. And when that insulin is put back where it needs to be, your body can make the estrogen or progesterone the way that it should. It's just so much easier for your body. And so for me, it meant normal periods again, not having heavy 5-day periods anymore. It meant I was sleeping through the night again, off of 3 prescriptions, blood pressure normalized, all the things. For me, that was a life changing event, getting yerba mate in my life. Now, we call this the You Workout Triad. And this is a little order you can make all together, especially for our workout guys and girls. So if you're someone who is not at all, if you're already past that insulin resistant state and you're not working on fat loss anymore, you're just really focused on muscle, this is this is the way to go. Adding the creatine, H&B, leucine, okay? Getting in the Unamate, and right there in the middle, we have our beautiful Signal electrolytes. Our electrolyte solution is phenomenal. It tastes phenomenal, which is always the best part, right? Because how many times do we get those electrolyte solutions and they're just so salty or they're just so much? And this has calcium, magnesium, zinc, sodium, potassium, beetroot, and L-sertraline. If you go down the rabbit hole of studying beetroot and L-sertraline and what that does for your blood pressure, for the vessels of your heart, for your cardiovascular function. Guys, this is a game changer. I do a Signal every single day now. I firmly believe that we do not drink enough water and we do not get enough electrolytes. And if you are someone who is hitting the gym and you are perspiring and you are losing more salt on your skin and you are losing those electrolytes, you need to be supplementing. It is a game changer for your energy. I don't know about you, Mike, but it's been a
Excuse me.
game changer for me.
Yes, Signal is incredible. And I highly recommend that also. I mean, that is something that most definitely you're going to want to use, but not to shift away from Signal. But I want you to understand one more thing about Stronghold, okay?
Hmm.
Because we only touched on creatine monohydrate.
Yeah.
Everything that is in Stronghold, your body makes naturally. The problem is we don't make enough of it. We have to
Yeah.
supplement, okay? We have to supplement to see real gains. So there are 5 things that Stronghold does for your body. You're going to be accelerating muscle strength, accelerating muscle size. You're going to speed up recovery time, okay? Accelerate recovery, accelerate fat loss, and you're going to accelerate brain recovery and brain health. 5 key things with that stack. Now, I want you to understand what's in there is creatine monohydrate, okay? There's also L-leucine, and there is HMB, which is beta hydroxy beta methylbutyrate. The body makes those, and here's how it makes it, okay? When you eat protein, let's say you have a steak, you get creatine from your steak. If you had a pound of red steak in front of you, had a pound of steak, you're going to get somewhere between 1 to 2 grams of creatine. When you cook it, you're going to lose some of that. So you might only end up with 1 gram of creatine. Now, when you eat proteins in the body, what ends up happening is proteins turn into molecules, and molecules will turn into amino acids. L-leucine is that amino acid. That's one of 3. That's the most important one that really has an anabolic effect on the body and aids in recovering muscle breakdown. Okay. Here's the other thing. Once you have that leucine in the body that's made from the protein, it metabolizes into something called HMB, which is beta hydroxy beta methylbutyrate. And
Hmm.
that's what you're also going to find in Stronghold. Now, to give you an idea real quick, then I'm going to let Jen talk. You would have to eat 600 grams of protein. Now, I don't know
Crazy.
about you guys, but I can't afford that grocery bill. 600 grams of
No way.
protein to turn into what? 60 grams of leucine in the body. And that 60 grams would metabolize into only 3 grams of HMB.
Wow.
So guess what you get in 2 packs a day, like I use? 2 packs of Stronghold will give you 4 grams of HMB. So you need to ask yourself this: does that mean that I still need to take in 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight in order to gain muscle? Now you don't. Not when you're using Stronghold.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's hard. When people talk about the numbers of eating the 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight of protein, that's a lot of protein, honestly and truly. That's a
Yes.
lot of eating. But and then again, when we talk about good healthy eating and we talk about this fasting, and I want to come back to this for a moment, we're talking about Mike being the big workout guy and supporting the big muscles. It still means he still eats some big meals. He's still doing the fasting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't just believe me and him, go down the rabbit hole of research for for yourself. Follow Jim Stepani. Like, he is a very famous workout guru to the stars. He works out like Mario Lopez and a bunch of famous people. He has them do fasting. He has them do fasting, and he has them work out right as they're breaking their fasting window or in their eating window, just like me and Mike do. And they have phenomenal results. And I mean, he's got clients that are absolutely shredded and look phenomenal. Fasting is something you can absolutely positively do, help you lose fat while you're still hitting the gym and building muscle, or drinking the stronghold to build the muscle. Both are absolutely available to you. And during the eating window, Michael eats until he's full. He has a lunch, he has a dinner, he has no snacking in between, and he eats until he's satisfied. And let me tell you, that's a big plate,
Yeah.
especially on a workout day. Supporting a lot of big muscle mass means a lot of meat, a lot of protein,
Yes.
a lot of all the good stuff. He's still eating a nice big meal twice a day. He's just not doing what he used to do, which was eating a nice big, not as healthy meal 3 times a day plus
Mm-hmm.
snacks.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to tell them what
That's
we
the game
had tonight,
changer.
I had 3 half-pound steak patties, steak burger patties. So ground steak,
Hmm.
3 of those, and a great big huge pile of broccoli.
Yeah. Our world has changed so much. The food that we used to eat used to be, we'd still eat the burgers, but we always had the bun and the ketchup and all the extras, right? Sugar, sugar, and sugar,
Mhm.
encompassing our protein. And it took a little while. I remember those first couple months, I said, Mike, let's just skip the bun. Let's just skip the bun on the burger. Let's eat the meat.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are we doing here? I'm like, trust me, I know it sounds weird at first, but we're going to love it. And now that's our daily routine.
Exactly.
Skipping the bun, skipping the bread, skipping the pasta, skipping the rice.
Skip
We
anything
used
white.
to, yeah, exactly. White and overly processed is
Yes.
bleached. Honestly, it's bleached with bleach. It's crazy, guys. And when we're talking about things like rice, meals before the Feel Great system, we would have the broccoli and we would have the chicken, or we would have the ground steak on a bed of rice, right? We always had those filler foods because we were trying to fill him up. But little did I know, all we were doing was spiking his blood sugar and his insulin, which was then spiking his blood pressure. It was then getting his cholesterol higher, and the list goes on. We were causing more doctor visits. We were causing more copays at the doctor's office, more copays for the medicine, right? And the list goes on and on and on. And you start thinking about, do you want to spend money on your health and wellness and prevention? Or do you want to spend your money on the meds and the sickness and the asthma inhalers and the prednisone and the azithromycin because we're having another Z-Pack because we're having pneumonia again? And it really boils down to, if you take a pen and paper to it, where do you want to put your money? Because you're going to spend your money either way. You can
Okay.
spend it on staying healthy, or you can spend it on staying sick.
Mhm. And the way I like to tell people, and I mean, and this should really resonate with anybody that is watching right now or that's going to rewatch this later, is there are two things you're going to do the rest of your life. You're either going to be dependent on this the rest of your life, which is big pharma, and you're going to live a very short life, or you're going to be dependent on supplementation. And I will choose supplementation every day of the week. Every day. I'd rather be dependent on that
Yeah.
and use that the rest of my life and have amazing health and a super quality of life than be dependent on something like this when I know I'm going to have a short life and a poor quality of life.
Yeah, and the supplements honestly are just pure food. It's food-based supplementation, nutraceuticals. And honestly, as soon as you get your health under control and you're eating clean, you're literally just using these supplements as tools in your toolkit. For instance, if I'm craving the Starbucks latte, I just grab a tea instead. Otherwise, I could drink water throughout the day. I mean, I love the antioxidants that come from it. And let's be honest, I feel like every American needs to supplement these days. Our soil is not as nutrient rich as it used to be. Think about it. Our grandparents didn't never took electrolytes. They worked out in the fields and the farms and sweated and did all the things. And did they need a Gatorade? No. Why? Because their fruits, their vegetables, their meat even was more mineral dense, nutrient dense. The
Yes.
soil wasn't stripped. They weren't sprayed with all these chemicals that we now use. Our food is not as rich as it used to be. And as the world has changed, even when you're eating healthy food, unless you're growing it on organic at home soil that's not been touched by modern America, you're going to need to supplement. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the unfortunate truth. It's just the unfortunate truth.
Yeah, and we just can't
So,
we just can't get enough from our food today. We
no,
just
we
can't
can't.
receive it from our food.
Yeah.
Every single individual that is watching right now has been on some type of supplementation since they were born. Whether it was you went to the doctor as an infant, your parents took you in and they said, hey, um, you know, your child looks like, according to the blood work, they're vitamin D deficient, they need a little more vitamin C, whatever it might be. Guess what? Then you went down, you filled that script for what? For a liquid vitamin to give to that
Mhm.
child. And then it led to Flintstone vitamins in kindergarten. And then
Yeah.
everybody started taking one a day. And the ladies are taking stuff for hair and nails. They want strong nails and hair.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're doing protein bars and protein shakes. And so all of this is supplementation. You're going to have to do it for the rest of your life. So you might as well do the right supplementation, something that is science backed, third party studied, in the Cleveland Clinic, in the University of Sydney, metabolic scientists studying it, and it is world renowned, and it's in over 60 countries now.
Yeah. And for some of our friends on here, I see that we have some of our friends on here listening. If you've had some amazing results with the system, can you put that in the comments of what it's done for you? And me and Mike will do ours is just the same. It's important to understand this is helping people who are in their 90s. This is helping people who are in their teens. This is helping adults all around the world in how many different countries now? Um, it's like what, 60?
It's over 60 now. I believe we just got
It's
another one in
crazy.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So I believe that makes it our 61st country.
Okay. It's just it's incredible and it's good nutrition and it's tools in your toolkit to use when you need to supplement because you know you're not getting the right nutrition. When you're eating something that's not raising that GLP hormone naturally enough to keep you full for 4 to 6 hours after your meal, now you have a supplement to help fill in the nutritional gaps. That's as hard as it has to be. So if you guys have questions about lifting, about muscle, about all the things, put anything in the comments. Mike will come on here after the live and answer any questions that anybody has, how to use these different supplements, how to stack them. We were mainly focused on muscle tonight. We didn't do a lot on the nitty-gritty of the basics of the tea and fiber. If you guys are looking for more of that, trying to fix your insulin resistance if you're struggling from the skin tags and the darkened skin pigmentation, diabetes or pre-diabetes, or a high insulin state. If you're tired all the time, fatigued, holding on to extra belly fat, craving sugar all the time, or any of those similar symptoms, reach out. We can talk to you about the business of the basics, the tea and the fiber, and how it works and how it can revolutionize your life. If you're someone who's wanting to be the gym rat, we can talk about the stacking and how you can stack supplements to really, really put on muscle. I put on 5 pounds of muscle. I was just interviewing Andrew last week. He's put on 10. Mike, you've put on how much?
Total right now, it's somewhere, I'm right around in between 24 pounds, a little bit more than that, right
Okay.
around the end of my first year. That's
That's
where I was.
incredible. In your 50s. In your
Yeah.
50s.
So yes,
Guys,
it can be done. It can definitely be done. But you got to
muscle.
remember one thing is
Mhm.
anybody that's watching, you're going to see the muscle gains when you correct your insulin resistance problem. You're going to correct your anabolic resistance problem. But it's
Yes.
also going to take a little something on your part if you want to see a lot of muscle. In Stronghold, okay, there's been a lot of studies that I watched outside of the company that's bringing you this on just focusing on creatine, focusing on HMB, focusing on
Mhm.
L-leucine. And what do you find? Well, individuals that trained very hard and almost overtrained with just performing resistance training for 5 to 6 days a week put on as much as 16.5 pounds of muscle on the average within
That's
three
crazy.
months. 3 months.
That's
So,
crazy.
is it worth it? You better believe it. And anybody that's watching that's got sons or daughters that are in sports and you want to see them excel, you better give them Stronghold. You want to see them excel, give them Stronghold. If you are watching right now and you're elderly, 1 to 5 pounds of muscle put back on your body quickly could be the means of you having to walk with a walker or a cane forever.
And
Now
for our
imagine putting
friends,
back on 5 pounds of muscle and you're not even going to the gym and you pitch the walker.
yeah,
That's incredible.
no matter the age and no matter the medical condition, and not to mention, like for our GLP friends, there's millions of people out there using the GLPs, and we know about the side effects of it eating muscle mass. The Stronghold is something that you can use in conjunction with a GLP injection to help protect your muscle. If you're not doing something to help protect your muscle and you are on a GLP injection, you are missing a you're missing the boat here. If you eat up your muscle mass, which the medication is known to do, 40% of the weight loss is muscle mass, guys. If you're not working out, you absolutely have to supplement, because once that muscle mass is gone, it is very, very difficult and slow to build back up. If you're not going to hit the gym for 2 hours a day like this guy, this is going to be a hard road for you.
Mm-hmm.
Using something like creatine, HMB, leucine, all in a power pack like that can help protect that muscle mass that you could so easily lose with that medication. That's that's a game changer, guys. This is
Mm-hmm.
something that people need to be paying attention to. So whether you want to increase your GLP with our beautiful Unimate natural tea, or you're increasing your GLP using a synthetic medication, regardless, muscle mass is number one. That's your longevity organ. That's what's going to keep your insulin in check. That's what's going to keep your blood sugar under control. That should be your number one priority. Anything else? Mike, if there's anybody sitting here on the fence tonight thinking, I don't know. Is there one thing you'd like to say before we leave?
As far as what the Stronghold,
Nope. As far as the system
oh,
in itself,
the
on trying good,
system
clean
itself.
supplementation.
Well, I mean, to give you an idea, and I don't have all of the products sitting here in front of me, but to correct your metabolic health using this tea and fiber protocol will do it. I'm telling you, it is a guarantee. You're hearing it from me. That's going to correct your metabolic health. Now, when you're talking about anabolic health, the other stack that I do with that stronghold, this is something that I do all the time. And a lot of you think that, oh my gosh, I can't afford this. You know how many times I've heard that I can't afford this? But when you actually sit down and write down what you loosely spend money on every single day, you find out that you can not only afford to do this protocol and do all of it that I do, and you'll have even money left to put in the bank when you stop and look at what you spend money on loosely. And the thing is your health. I can't stress it enough. Your health is your wealth. You can
Oh,
have
yeah.
all of the money in the world, and what good is it if you can't, I feel fatigue, I feel tired, I'm
Mm-hmm.
depressed, I want to just shut the blinds, I don't want to go outside. Oh, I can't go out and go hiking because I don't have the energy to do that. All these things. I could go on and on and on about stories in the comments or responses that I received from people, and I'm like, then you don't know what real life is. Because there's nothing like making a transformation and going from somebody that was like me, big and fat and fluffy and super sexy, to
Mm-hmm.
to the scary looking guy that is somewhat built pretty good. And when you make that transformation, I want you to know something. People notice it.
Yeah.
You glow. You have confidence now. When you walk into the room, there's an aura around you. And people do realize that some serious changes were made. Like, what did you do? Hey, Andrew's in here. What did you do, Andrew? Wow, you look amazing. Man, tell me,
Mm-hmm.
show me the way. I want to be like you. And that's exactly what we all want to hear. We want to just be able to love ourselves once again.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to be able to share that love and show other people the way and how to get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good health and wellness is absolutely positively available to you. It's all about what you're going to prioritize. And like he said, you can put your money in the bank or you can spend it on good health and wellness, but what is going to keep you on this planet longer, happier, healthier, and a better quality of life? So
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much, Mike, for joining us. Thank you, everybody who listened in or who everybody's listening in on the replay. Put comments in there and ask questions. Mike is here to answer any questions that you have. Put them in the comments and we will get to all of them. Also, next week, we'll have a busy week as always. We've been doing these live podcasts on Mondays and Thursday evenings for stay tuned. We've got some great plans for next week. On Wednesdays, we do the podcast at 9 a.m. Central Time. In the morning, me and Tanya talk about the physical and mental health. So we appreciate you so much for joining us. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I always tell everybody, please stay powerfully present in your health and wellness because no one is going to knock the donut out of your hand unless you live with me and he's going to get the donut knocked right out of his hand. But
Exactly.
exactly, nobody's going to knock the donut out of your hand and nobody's going to take the Doritos out of your grocery cart, but you can do it for you. You really, truly can. I know if I could do it, then you could do it because I used to eat non-stop junk,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. And
Non-stop.
that's the same for me. If I can do it, you can do it because my kryptonite was ice cream. And I'm not talking
Mm-hmm.
about a little bit here and a little bit there. I mean, ice cream was my comfort food, my go to every night in the evening before bed, a giant bowl.
Of
A
insulin
giant
resistance.
bowl.
And now we call it a bowl of insulin resistance, do we not? As we walk through the
That's
grocery store.
right.
And like, there's the insulin resistance aisle because we know where we were and where we want to be. And it feels so much better to be right here.
Yeah. Matter of
100%.
fact, you and I do that about a lot of things. We'll be out together and we'll see a bunch of people walking into a donut shop and I'll say, look at them lined up for insulin resistance.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you right here on social media. Please give us both a follow, ask questions, and show up for your health. Love you all. Have a good night.